Grizedale's famous for sculptures for a number of reasons. The main thing, I suppose, is that it was the first place in England to have sculptures in a forest landscape, and all of the work that's made here is made by artists who've come to the forest and that have responded to this particular environment. So the work is in response to the site, and it's a very special forest, obviously, being in the Lake District National Park. So it was the first of its kind, really, certainly in England and possibly the first of its kind in the world. There are over 60 sculptures across Grizedale Forest. It's 2,500 hectares, the forest, so it would be quite a job to find them all. We think it takes 2 or 3 days if you want to explore all of the walking trails and find all of them. But equally, there's quite a number of trails. There's a very easy accessible trail called the Riddingwood Trail, which in about half an hour you'll see quite a number of works, and it's impossible to get lost on the Riddingwood Trail. And then there are walks that suit a half-a-day visit on the west and the east side of the forest. You can walk up to Carron Crag, which is the highest point in the forest, and you also get amazing views of the Lake District fells all around. And also you can walk up to Grizedale Tarn, which is the only natural tarn in the forest, and see quite a number of the larger landscape scale pieces on the way. A couple of the highlights would certainly be Taking a Wall for a Walk, which is quite a famous piece which was made at Grizedale. It's by the artist Andy Goldsworthy, and it's a typical Cumbrian dry stone wall, but it wiggles between a line of trees that were planted by the Forestry Commission, and the artist decided to make a play on the straight line of trees and actually wiggle the wall in between them. And another highlight would be Quarry Structure, which is a work which we've recently remade by the artist Richard Harris. He was the first sculptor to be in residence at Grizedale in the late 70s, and he's faithfully recreated the original work. If you head up towards Grizedale Tarn, you'll come across something which looks a little bit like it might be an alien or a giant animal on the landscape. You'll actually discover that the artist who made it, Kerry Morrison, has enlarged the leaves of fern, and the piece is called Some Fern. Also, we've installed a work which is carved again, but this time out of railway sleepers, and it's by the artist Keir Smith. It's called Last Rays of an English Rose, and it's sited near Balkestead Farm. And if you head up there, actually a beautiful time to go and see it is at sunset, because you get the last rays of the day shining through this particular little woodland setting. The Ancient Forester is an artwork by David Kemp. There are actually 2 Ancient Foresters at Grizedale. Ancient Forester 2 is actually the one in the visitor centre, which you'll find on arrival near the Go Ape Centre and opposite the cafe. And he's again leaning on his axe and has a bird on his shoulder and has antlers on his hat. And he is really the sort of iconic figurative sculpture of Grizedale's history.